Hello, everyone. A very good evening to one and all. Okay, I hope you all are doing well. So, myself, let me give a very short introduction of mine. I am a dietitian Aisha Rabbani from AgriVision4U. Okay, I'm your mentor for the course to crack the upcoming NCET exam, okay, which is on 23rd June 2024. So, today, okay, I'll be revising a very interesting topic of physiology again, that is the circulatory system. Okay, I'll be explaining you in a little in detail about what exactly circulatory system and how does it exactly play a major role, I must say. All right. I hope that you all know what exactly is circulatory system, right? uh, what are the organs and what are the things that it, exactly involves. So we all know that listening to circulatory system, heart comes in our mind at the very moment, isn't it? This heart, it is a muscular organ, okay? It actually pumps blood throughout the circulatory system, and it is actually situated in between the lungs in the mediastinum. Okay, it is made up of four chambers, two atria, and two ventricles. We all know this basics, right? So the musculature of the ventricles is actually thicker than that of atria. Okay, there is the force of attraction of the heart that actually depends upon the muscles. So this is a basic anatomy of the heart, and I have one more detailed with labelings so that when we go into a detailed explanation, it will be very easy for you all to understand. There are certain sites, certain, arteries and veins, the roles you have to understand actually. So we basically are having, right side of the heart and the left side of the heart. Okay. Right side of the heart, it has two chambers, right atrium and the right ventricle. You all know that right atrium is a thin walled and, it has a very low pressure. Like it's a low pressure chamber. And if you see for the right ventricle, it is exactly the opposite, and it has got a pacemaker, which is usually known as the sinoatrial node. Okay, that produces cardiac impulses in atrioventricular node that conducts the impulses to the ventricles and all. So we are having right atrium, okay, which receives the oxygenated blood via the two large veins, and I hope you all know what are those two large veins. One is the superior vena cava, and the other one is inferior vena cava, right? Um, Superior vena cava, it returns its venous blood from the head, neck, and upper limbs. And we are having inferior vena cava that actually returns, the venous blood from the lower parts of the body. Then we are having the left side of the heart. Okay, again, it is having two chambers, left atrium and the left ventricle. Now, again, left atrium is, a thin wall and a low pressure, and it receives usually the oxygenated blood from the lungs through the pulmonary veins. And this is the only exception in the body where an artery carries the venous blood. That's all. And, blood from the left atrium, it enters the left ventricle through the mitral valve. And mitral valve is also known as, the bicuspid valve. So wall of the left ventricle is actually very thick, and left ventricle, it pumps the atrial blood into different parts of the body through the systemic aorta. Here for like more clear understanding, you can refer this picture. Okay, here you have all these walls, the bicuspid and the tricuspid valve. Its roles and all we have already been discussed, and again we are going to discuss it in the upcoming crash course. Okay, then we are having the septa of the heart, right and left atria, where they are separated from one another by a fibrous septum, and that particular fibrous septum is known as interatrial septum. And if you talk about ventricles, the right and left ventricles are separated from one another by intraventricular septum. So if atrias are separated right and left, then that is interatrial septum, and if those are ventricles, that is right and left ventricles, that is an interventricular septum. And the upper part of the septum is usually again a membranous structure, okay? Whereas the lower part is usually muscular in nature. You have to remember what is membranous structure, what is muscular, like upper or lower, each and everything, because it will be asked in the form of MCQ in your final exam. Then understanding layers of the wall of the heart is again very important. We all know it's usually made up of three layers: outer, middle, and inner. Outer one is usually known as, the pericardium, or the name itself, peripheral. So like that. So it is outer one, pericardium, okay, the very first layer. And then you are having myocardium, middle myo, okay, myocardium. And you are having the final one, that is the inner endocardium. Okay, endo inside. So that's the reason it is in inner endocardium. All its role, its functions, how exactly it's involved in the circulation in detail will be explained very soon. And it has already been explained, but once again, we are going to do it. Okay. Each and everything about the walls of the heart, and then we are exactly having the anatomy, okay, where like exactly the direction of the flow. And then we are having the cardiac cycle, okay, like how does it functions and all in short, okay. So we'll be also discussing about the structure and function of the blood vessels. We will be discussing about all the in inner constituents, or we'll be also discussing about what is chylomicrons, what is high density lipoproteins and low density lipoproteins, intermediate, very low density lipoproteins, each and everything, its role in the circulation and where exactly does it circulate from where to where. Okay, each and everything will be discussed pretty soon. So I hope you will read in details, right? So everything will be discussed in our live classes in AgriVision for you pretty soon. So if you too want to crack this exam and get in that knowledge, so please do join us up in the crash course for NIN entrance, which will be starting pretty soon. So for more details or any kind of contact or any enrollments, do contact on the number that is shared in the screen. Thank you.